Hey, Movie Trades! I wanted to do a video analysis update on the stock market. I'm going to try to make it a little, fun. I really, get asked why, sometimes I talk about things that aren't the stock market. And I talk about boring stuff, like long gamma positions that give me unlimited downside exposure to the stock market. And they are ginormous, essentially lottery ticket positions where if this bear scenario played out, without me having taken a bias, just kind of systematically doing this, I stand to catch the big short. Now, the people watching this channel know my bias is not that I think the stock market's going to crash. But because I took long gamma positions, consisting of straddles, strangles, and married puts in the long guts position, I have a lot of deep in the money puts on the Metaverse ETF, METV, and I have a lot of deep in the money calls on PSQ, which inverses the Nasdaq. They're deep in the money. And yeah, I've that stuff is too boring for a lot of people. So a lot of people ask why I get sports involved, right? Why do I get sports involved? Oh, and now, by the way, I can buy as much JEPQ, as much SVOL, as much, SPYI. I can buy as much, really anything, that's correlated to the market against these options. And these options are way more powerful than the common stock of JEPQ that I'm going to be buying, and the common stock of SVOL that I'm going to be buying, and the common stock of SPYI that I'm going to be buying. I actually couldn't buy those ETFs fast enough to offset this downside exposure. So as the market keeps going down, the VIX only gets higher. That means the premium from those aforementioned ETFs that I'm going to collect only gets higher. But guess what? The downside exposure from all these puts, and I've detailed the roles for these puts, that's only going to get bigger. So I'm going to collect more premium, and I'm going to get to reinvest that premium at cheaper prices with higher volatility. And at the same time, as that's all happening, I'm actually going to get more downside exposure to the stock market. So all those premiums that I'm going to be collecting are without risk, because every premium that I get is in an ETF that is a lot less volatile than the Metaverse ETF. And it's a lot and even if they were the exact same volatility, in the case of PSQ, ideally, there's an inverse ETF, so there's a little different things going on. But ideally, with PSQ, even if it's the exact same exposure as JEPQ, which statistically the beta for JEPQ is a little lower than the Nasdaq's, an option is much more powerful than common stock. So I spent years researching what are the best types of options to buy. The results were that long gamma positions, when IV rank is close to zero on ETFs that track the market, like PSQ, like SH, like METV, get me a lot of downside exposure to the market. They give me a lot of upside exposure to the market too. Married puts, strangles, straddles, I like them all. And they give me a lot of exposure, a lot more exposure than the common stock of ETFs that pay money from option premiums to me each month are going to need to be hedged. And that's the power of Delta. That's the power of Gamma. That's the power of me studying, hey, I can get this 12 put for real cheap and sell these bloated calls on the Nasdaq through JEPQ, and I can create a net credit, because an option is much more powerful than common stock, especially when it's hedging a common stock that's paying covered call premium or put selling premium, or premium that comes from the VIX carry trade in the case of SVOL. And even that, I just said I wasn't going to get too techie. This is why I can't do this sometimes. I got to bring sports into it, man. But isn't this just, I I didn't see this until I took this picture today, man. But isn't this just the best encompassment of FinSwit? And what it's like to be a bull on FinSwit, what it's like to be a quant on FinSwit, what it's like to really do this. Let's be honest, systematically, you only been making money in the stock market trying to buy assets. You know, I'll give a small exception to the expert premium collecting crowd. But you can blow smoke up whoever's ass you want. We know you're not making nice money. You're buying puts and gaming the market and all that, right? Now, if you're doing it right, you might be making some money on puts, might be making some money on PSQ calls. Anyway, look at this. I'm trying to make an analogy. You guys might not even remember this, right? 7 months ago, you guys were all experts in the banking crisis, the banking crash, which, by the way, happened on 3/8. LeBron James, nice little 38 ritual at 38 years old, 38 years after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record. I think it was his record. He broke the points record of 38,000 points at age 38. And it was all synced up with 3/8. I thought it was interesting because 3/8 is a big number in these ritual sciences with, death and sacrifice, right? So on March 8th, about a month after that, we had this big, death of the banks, right? And then we find out, LeBron James' son is in a, Christianity is all about sacrificing your son. Anyway, woo! I posted this on March 10th when everyone's screaming, there's blood in the streets. Right? This is when all the leeches come out, baby. They want your money, honey. I said football teams practice the 2-minute drill. A day like today, FinSwit's talking about, bank runs, right? A day like today, Friday near the March quad witching, UVXY jumps 50% in 48 hours, and FinSwit's talking about bank runs. I said, there's either bloated hedges bought systematically to neutralize or not. 4 likes, 2,000 views. And look at this jackass. Fear is everywhere now. It's probably a robot, probably not even a real person. Time to buy UVXY. How'd that do? How'd buying a fuck ton of UVXY do on March 10th? Probably what a lot of these experts with 250,000 followers say, right? They probably all say, hey, I'm buying a lot of UVXY today when it's up 50%. And look at this. This is like 2001 all over. The same shit that your retarded fucking idiot gurus say, and you make them fucking rich and famous. So when a day like today happens, a week like this week happens, and there's someone who actually has a fuck ton of deep in the money puts and deep in the money calls on PSQ, deep in the money puts on the Metaverse ETF, so they can buy whatever the fuck they want. JEPQ, SPYI, SVOL, whatever. All these yield max ETFs that track these tech stocks, these biggest holdings, I can go weighting by weighting. I can go weighting by weighting. Shit, what's the Nasdaq? 9% Apple, all right, 9% Apple. 10% MSFO, 6% GOI. I wonder where they got that name from, GOI. Anyway, AMZ, right? I can go weighting by weighting. Just buy those yield max ETFs, collect the premium as this falls. I don't give a fuck if the stock market crashes. But it was interesting. Y'all do. It's so weird because y'all care so much if the stock market crashes. But then I'm like, okay, then you might want to learn the Greeks. The whole point, just in case you didn't know this, the whole point of having an options trading account enabled, the whole point of going through all that bullshit, the whole point of exposing yourself to exercise risk is so that you do not give a flying fuck when someone says the stock market crashes, is gonna crash. That's it. That's fucking it. There is no other reason to have options trading enabled, period. If not for the sole purpose of being prepared to call this bluff. And to tell pieces of shit like this, go fuck yourself, bitch. I don't need your UVXY. I got MTV. puts deep in the money. PSQ calls deep in the money. I can buy straddles and strangles on SH, whatever the fuck I want, with money and free premium that's coming in from JetQ, SPYI, all that shit.
Last week was signing day for all the high schoolers to come and sign on the dotted line. Well, apparently some little incident happened with the Buffalo football team. We'll let Dan Hawkins explain.
Some guys might decide that it's a little too tough, or it's a little too hard, it's a little too demanding. I'll give you a little example. I got an anonymous letter from a parent. Said, we just kind of bummed out this year that the boys only get 2 weeks off before they start their summer conditioning program. Normally they get 3. Well, we gave them a week at the start of the semester rather than the end. But here's my point, okay? It's Division I football! It's a Big 12! It ain't intramurals! You got 2 weeks after finals, you got a week at July 4th, and you got a week before camp starts. That's a month! That's probably more vacation than you guys get. And we're a little bummed out that we don't get 3 weeks? Go play intramurals, brother. Go play.
Go follow these fucks! Go play intramurals! I watch videos about Gen Z bitching! How expensive shit is? How unaffordable housing is? Fuck you! You're the luckiest generation ever! You got asphalt! I would have done anything for these institutional strategies you have access to! You got an ETF right now, yielding 15%, running the buy right on LQD, investment grade bonds. Cash, CSHI, yielding 7%, HIGH, primary holding, T-bills, 9.38%, 9.85%. Go play intramurals. But there's never been a better time to play Division I football. You've been watching too much basketball. They ain't got people in the paint anymore. You've been watching too much basketball. You've been listening to too much fucking Drake. Bitcoin is listening to Drake. Bitcoin was in the paint. Wave A, place it the wave B high. Wave C, that was the paint. You go throw fucking elbows in the fucking paint. You fucking bitch! Now Bitcoin's listening to Drake. You ain't listening to Drake in the Nasdaq. You're in the fucking paint. You're listening to Waka Flocka, bitch. You got to listen to Drake for 6 months. What the fuck did you do? Did you get long gamma positions? No. Did you compound premium? Did you load a stabilizing bucket? Maybe diversify? Some value? Nah. You're in the paint right now. What the fuck does that mean? That means wave A place of the wave B high has been met. You're between the 100% to 161% extension of the length of wave A, place of the wave B low. You're the fucking pain. You listen to Waka Flocka Flame. Because these fucking bitches, these fucking snakes, they're gonna be all over your dumb ass. They're gonna be all over your fucking dumb ass. Hey, it's time to buy UVXY. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. Woo! It's time to buy UVXY. I don't need long gamma positions. I don't need long gamma positions. I gotta buy UVXY today. Go buy UVXY, you fucking bitch. You're in the paint. You're either buying UVXY and you're about to get fucked for the next 7 months, or you got hedges to neutralize. That's it. You can throw elbows, and you can talk shit like me, or you can go listen to fucking Drake and cry like a bitch.